Welcome to the Middle Ageish podcast. Authentically and unapologetically keeping it real. Discussing all things middle-age-ish. A time when metabolism slows and confidence grows. Join fashion and fitness entrepreneur Ashley Badowski, former Celtic Woman and founder of the Lisa Kelly Voice Academy, Lisa Kelly, licensed psychologist and mental health expert, Dr. Pam Wright, and highly sought-after cosmetic injector and board-certified nurse practitioner, Trisha Kennedy Roman. Join your hosts on the journey of Middle Ageish.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Middle Ageish Podcast. My name is Trisha Kennedy Roman, and I'm joined here today with my co-host, Ashley Badowski, Lisa Kelly, and Dr. Pam Wright. And you are joining us today for our sofa talk, so welcome.
Hello.
Hello. I know. Yay.
Yes, we're back. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to you.
Oh, I know, yes. My accent will be so much thicker this week.
You're like, I'm back.
Oh, my God.
We love it. We just got to listen to you talk for the rest of the night.
Exactly. How about this is just sofa talk with Lisa?
With Lisa.
I know. I got to go home, so that was so nice. It was so nice to get home. And the weather was good, which is crazy.
Oh, that's
the weather
amazing.
yeah. It's so rare that the weather is good in Ireland, but it was gorgeous, and I got to go home.
Okay, so what's gorgeous in Ireland? Like, what's the temp like?
Maybe 20. So what's that in Fahrenheit?
don't tell me.
Yeah, we're like
70s. 70s.
That's nice.
70s.
Okay.
Yeah, high 70s.
Right.
I think that equates. I can never do the math. But we don't have air conditioning, so so when it gets into like the middle to late 70s, and our houses are all stone and concrete, so like brick. So you never, like,
No.
it is so hot.
I just saw
so,
Ashley
so
deflate
hot.
with that. She can't ever live in Ireland now.
You're like, no
It's
AC, no.
Between Amazon and air conditioning, I don't think I could go home.
Yes.
Like, we have Amazon in Ireland, but it is nothing like Amazon here.
Did you see a leprechaun?
I did not see Leprechaun on this.
Did
Now,
you
well,
did you see it?
however,
Did you see Tinkerbell or like a
I
little
didn't
fairy?
see no fairies. However, Notre Dame were playing, so there was plenty of American leprechauns
Oh, yes.
running around the city.
Running around.
Yes. Well, I actually didn't get to go out much because I was filming a special for Celtic Woman, so I didn't get to go out and party too much. I was partying in a dressing room.
So your special comes out Christmas time?
December, yes, the December.
Oh my gosh, we're so
Cannot
excited.
wait.
I know it's the 20th,
So excited.
20th anniversary.
That's like crazy. Because you're,
I
I mean,
know.
again, we talk about this all the time. I mean, but you're 25, so how does that even work?
Yeah.
This is true. Yes, I was a
So-
5-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that was the crazy thing, you know, like the new girls that they've brought in. So it was more like, you know, a handoff, and it was 4 of the original 5 girls who got to do this show. So it was just really surreal because it doesn't feel like 20 years ago. Like, it really
I mean,
doesn't.
I can't even imagine.
It's so weird, and the girls, the new girls in it aren't like as young as we were. I don't think. No, they couldn't have been. No, they're not as young because Chloe was like only 14 when we did the first Celtic Woman, and I think I was like 27 or something. So it was just, it was just so surreal. But it was like no time passed. I was standing side stage getting ready to go on for You Raise Me Up with Mairead, and he was our fiddle player. And it was just like we were standing. It was like being back there
Same
15 years
thing.
ago. Yeah, it just nothing
like
changes.
you time traveled back.
Yeah, but I was just older. It was harder to walk in heels, and I was more nervous than usual.
I was going to say, do you get anxious like if
Oh
it's
my
been that long
God.
since you've done something? And there's so much pressure because this is a big deal.
So much pressure. So now I will say it's a little easier than doing like a live show in a theater, because even though it's a live show, it's been filmed. So if something goes horribly wrong, you can start
refilm.
over. You can
Makes
refilm.
sense.
You can start all over.
Right.
But we filmed over 2 nights, and on the first night we have the most patient director in the world. He's been around us for years, and I had my lovely dress on, and I bought lovely high heels for the show.
So
and
stunning.
I was loving myself, and he was like, you know, okay. He came to me with a note after the first night. Went, you were supposed to come down the step, and I was like, yeah, I know, but I was so nervous, my legs actually wouldn't move. I was sat there going, oh my God, why would you move? But that was fabulous. It was
So you
fabulous.
did have an audience, though? Like,
We
there was
did.
a
We had an
studio?
audience both nights. Yeah, we had really a closed audience on Thursday, so all your family and friends came in.
Okay, because
And
I was going to
then,
ask you, like,
yeah.
who got
It was,
to go?
so that, which was nice as well, because that kind of gives you a bit of a warm up. And then on the Friday night, it was everybody who'd won tickets. So they didn't sell tickets for this show. They like
Gave them
did
away.
a competition. Yeah. So it was all the fans, and some of them who've like been around.
How
for
many people
20 years.
in the audience?
It wasn't that big because you had to leave room for cameras. So I think if there was 1,000 there, that might have been
kinda
it. So it's
big.
still pretty, but it was pretty
Kinda
intimate.
big.
Listen, there's no real difference between like 200 people
and then
10,000
true.
people. It really isn't. And the lights are on, so you don't see people that much in the audience anyway. But yeah, no, it was fabulous. It was so nice. It was
excited.
great to have as I was saying to you earlier before we started recording, it was just so nice to close that chapter as well and to actually have a close and know I'm done.
I don't think it's closed.
Like a 25th anniversary.
No,
30th anniversary, 40th anniversary, 50th anniversary.
Yeah. The Golden Jubilee. Yes. No, it's definitely
Golden Girls.
Yeah, it's not as
That's going to be us in like
Oh my God, that is going to be us.
many years. The
It
Golden
was,
Girls podcast.
Exactly.
It felt more like the SNL. They did an SNL skit on Celtic Woman about a year and a half ago. That's what it felt like.
Really?
Yes, they did. I woke up. It was so funny. I woke up one
this to
morning.
us.
Oh my gosh, we
I
gotta
will.
see that.
It's ridiculous.
Same.
I woke up. You know the way you wake up sometimes. And I'm obviously 5 hours behind everybody in Ireland. So if I wake up to loads of messages on my phone, I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? Something's
Right,
happened.
right.
I'm always in a panic. But I woke up to like text after text after text. I'm going, oh my God, what's going on? And I went to Facebook and I have like 100 notifications on my Facebook and I click on, oh my God, this SNL skit of 4 girls in their dresses doing Celtic Woman. I was like, oh, it was awesome. It was the first, when I watched it first, I was highly offended. And then I went, okay, come on, you're Irish, you don't get offended.
Right.
That'd be ridiculous.
I mean, it's SNL. I mean,
yeah. So, which is always a
It's
little
one of those,
lost. I mean,
are you
it's-
laughing at yourself
you're
or with yourself?
"Ooh."
Yes.
So when I went back and watched it the second time, I was like, "This is actually hilarious."
Yes.
Yes, I'll send it to you, or we
Oh
can
my
put
gosh,
it. We can put it up on the Middle Ageish.
Oh, we do need to do that. All right, we're going to share that. Like,
Who was in it? Who were the actors in it?
The Kristen Wiig, I think.
Oh, no.
was one, and the other girl, the girl with the really dark hair.
Yes.
I don't know any of them.
I know you're talking about.
She's beautiful, big eyes. She does that ad with Seth.
I don't know. I mean, the only one that I've ever watched from SNL is the Snow Apocalypse, like in 14?
When it was everything shut down in the interstate?
The White Escalade. Oh my God.
Oh, actually, that sounds familiar. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah, I've never really
I know,
watched much
I
of
really
SNL, but
But I almost think like that's a form of flattery. I mean, if they pick you out
was
to
like, you've gotta
go
be-
and do something, you have to be pretty high up
gotta be
for them
kind
to
of
know
a big
that,
thing.
right?
and like Celtic Woman, really, it's kind of
No, it's a big
slowed
thing.
down.
I actually think it's
no,
a lot
no.
bigger thing than you give it
I
credit.
agree.
I've seen people walking around with your face on their shirt.
Yes.
Nobody's walking around with my face
Can we
on
just say
their
that
shirt.
all the fans that are listening
I know.
are Lisa
For
Kelly
all
fans
the
right
fans
now?
that are Lisa fans, they're going to be like,
all have my
excuse
face
me,
on their
Lisa,
shirt.
we love you.
Yeah,
we
and they're
adore
the
you.
best.
We
They're
have
the
your
best.
shirt.
They're so
Yes.
good.
Yeah, exactly. They probably have your shirt.
Yes.
Definitely have the
So-
shirt. Yes, I know they're great. They're great, and there's such a passion and such a following for it. It's
I love that though.
It is. It's so nice.
It's just
It really
sweet.
is.
So nice. And we've been lucky. We haven't had too many scary people, which has been.
Well, I love seeing the people that say you changed your life. I think that's
I know.
really
I
know.
love reading the comments.
Same. And I love that there's men who like listen because
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, I want to hear like what you guys have to talk about and you guys have to say. But like, it's just interesting.
It is no, and it's it's like it's an honor, to do something like that, and you don't think about it when you sing or you do your
your
job.
life.
You do your job.
It's
You,
your life.
It's
Yeah.
your job. So it's it was always amazing. It was always really really nice. I remember one time, I can't remember the theater, but there was a kid that came to the show, and he'd been severely abused as a child, and he hadn't spoken at all, and his parents had turned on PBS, and he saw Celtic Woman, and he started singing.
I'm gonna cry.
So, oh my God, it was so sad. And they brought
Selective
him to,
mutism.
yeah, they brought him to the show, and that was like,
See, that's life
those
changing.
kind of stories are just, and you never realize when you sing, you don't realize that, something means so much to people. So yes, it was wonderful. It was
my
great. It was great to
gosh.
go home. I didn't get any Guinness, so I'm disgusted with that, but didn't get to have any Guinness, but it's okay. Next time.
Next time.
Speaking of anniversaries, this is our 25th episode.
Wait, what?
Yes, 25th episode.
Can we cheers to that?
Yes,
Oh my
cheers.
gosh, how did I
25.
not? Oh, well, we know how I don't know that kind of stuff. I don't. It
definitely doesn't feel like
pay
it's been-
attention to anything.
It doesn't feel like it's been that many.
You know,
No, it
I think
really
it's cool too that people have said that even our podcast, how they related to it, how has helped them. So it's pretty
That's so
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's such a blessing.
25 ladies. Who'd have thought it?
Oh, I know.
I know.
Same. I'm like, what?
I can't believe you guys haven't kicked me out yet.
Oh,
No.
I'm going to take a
would
sip
we
to that.
We're like, we're still here. Yay.
Oh my God. Cheers
Not
to
being
Ashley not
replaced
getting
by-
fired. This
Yes.
is
I'm
amazing.
glad we were here. I thought we'd have a hurricane to deal with tonight, but no hurricane.
I think it's going to stay south of us, isn't it?
Thank goodness.
So speaking of 25 episodes, what would you guys say has been like your biggest learning point out of like, well, obviously we're getting free therapy every week with this. So what do you
my
think that
gosh.
you guys have pulled from our podcast so
I'm
far?
going to, for me, honestly, I think I've pulled something from each of them. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but it's the honest to God truth. Like I literally, and my husband can attest to this. I literally pull something that I feel like, oh my God, that right there was just for me. Like I was supposed to hear that right now. It resonates.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's been one episode where I didn't leave.
Same.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful I got to hear that,
Yeah.
you know? So again, I'm being super, super honest.
No, it'd be the same. I think the
I think
same.
so
I think
too.
everyone's been so different, and there's been such a level of discovery from
Yeah.
every guest that we had. And you know, I think tolerance has been the biggest thing that I've kind of taken away from people, from listening to people's stories and listening to how people have dealt with really awful things in their lives. And
Resiliency.
yeah, it's just been
like, how do you find grace after those, you know,
People
like,
are amazing.
I mean, like, to find such grace.
Well, and to do good for things, like do good with things, you know.
They're always kind of like a current of, you know, trauma and tragedy and all of that stuff. But there's, like you were saying, there's such optimism, even though their stories can be different, and their appreciation and gratefulness to be doing it. And I think that that's just huge and amazing that the human spirit does that. Like, so, yeah. So I
think my biggest thing has been probably why that too. I mean, always finding strength through like struggles. But I think, you know, we talk about every time about fake book. And I talked about how, you know, I've done pictures with my kitchen looking clean and there's tons of mess shoved to the side. And I think that that's one thing I really pull from is like, it's okay to not be okay. You know, like not, like I'm going through my mom having cancer right now. And I don't usually tell people everything that's going on with me, but it's been nice to like say, hey, you know, this is what's going on, and to have friends checking in on you and all that. Because usually I like to look like everything's all together, but sometimes things just suck, and it's not.
And it's okay, and you know what? And it's okay to say it sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's important to say it sucks, because I think somebody else reading it is going, oh my gosh, she has everything together. She's doing this. She's doing that. Everything is perfect in her life. You know, I think it is really important to be honest with people and let people know the thing, you know.
Yeah, it makes you more real.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, every guest that we've had has had something that's led them in that direction, right? So psychologically, anything that we have or go through and emotionally leads us into a different path. And so I think being real helps you to connect with people more than just being like, oh, life is perfect.
But
My house
that
is
I think
perfect.
that's the way I've grown the most, being able to say, hey, like things aren't okay today. You know, I think that's really important to be able to do. So I'd say that's what I've.
And to ask for help sometimes and support. Yeah.
And to lean on each other.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think when you when you are really raw and honest in whatever you're going through, it is nice to the other person, because that person could be going through the same thing, but it's always like, oh, that person looks like they have everything together. I'm not going to say anything. Oh my God. But then that makes them even feel worse about whatever they're going through. And so when you can be honest and be like, you know, whatever you're going through, or, you know, for me, when someone says, oh, your hair is beautiful. Oh, hey, it's a wig. You know, like it just is amazing when people are more open. You're helping yourself, but you're also helping someone else realize like, hey, you're not the only one out there by yourself.
Right. But it's interesting because I'm doing this CEU thing, but it's like there's a big correlate between loneliness and suicidality, you know, because suicide has been really up lately, and they've talked about that a lot since COVID. But, you know, people feeling lonely. And I think that if we feel like, oh, we have to be perfect, or we can't ask for help, or we can't reach out to friends, or we can't talk to people or hear other people's problems, then I think people shut down and go into that loneliness, and then it just gets dark, and then, you know, so I think it's just
you can't talk yourself out of it if you think you're the only person and that there's something wrong with you because this is how you feel and this is what you're going through, but everyone else around you has this beautiful, perfect life. Yeah. Of course you go down a very dark spiral. And I think that that's why it's good just to have like really raw,
honest conversations.
Embarrassing,
right.
whatever it is,
Yep.
just to be like, hey, you're not alone.
Right. And I think that connection is what keeps people going. So I hope if nothing else, people connect with us or what we're saying, or if we're saying things that they haven't heard or they've thought, but, never, verbalized to anybody, that it's just good to be able to have the conversation.
Yeah. We are
And to know that people aren't alone. That's the main thing.
Yeah, so that's definitely my thing. Just be real and
I love
not
it.
try to keep a front if things aren't okay.
No.
That's why you got a tribe around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because things are not always okay. If they are, bring them to me. I want to see them. I want to see the unicorn. I want to see the unicorn that's perfect.
If everything is truly okay, then your job here is done.
Right.
You're not. Then you're not here. Then you're. It's over. You know. And so, if you're still here, it's not perfect.
It's not okay. It's not always perfect.
Well, I'm looking forward to our guest next week.
Yes.
Speaking of just being someone to model after, because she is a nurse practitioner, which I like since I'm a nurse practitioner. Of course. But she also is someone who, middle aged, but has really taken her health by the horn and is a CrossFitter. And also she started her own clothing line, which I think is super cool too.
I think that's amazing.
She's a cross stitcher.
Really?
No.
I was like, wait, what?
I was like,
Crossfitter,
CrossFit and clothes.
Cross stitcher.
Okay, I literally was like, I have not heard that word since the
cross-stitch?
80s.
No.
My mom did that all the time.
Cross stitching. Yeah, no, I've never
Cross
done
stitch.
I didn't
Oh,
have.
wouldn't
I
have
could.
patience.
Okay, so that was really clever then, Lisa.
I know.
She's a cross stitcher. I'm going to
at
say
you.
that to her.
You and your logos. You need to be the logo queen. The logo
I'm
queen.
I missed out on marketing.
You
I
did.
mean, seriously.
You did.
We need to go back to the lady parts.
Yep.
Oh my.
Not those lips.
Oh my God.
The fancy flap.
That's
Yep,
it. I was
fancy
like, fancy,
flaps.
fancy. What is it? What is it? What is it? I mean, oh my God. Oh,
Yes, yes.
so freaking funny.
No, she's so cool.
Yeah,
She's so
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, let's cheers to having a tribe and cheers
Yes.
to
And
next week's
here
guest.
is cheers to 25, you guys. Here's to 25 more.
Tune in to 26 when we talk with Michele Rowell.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining the ladies of the Middle Ageish podcast as they journey through the ups and downs of this not young, but definitely not old season of life. To hear past episodes or make suggestions for future episodes, visit www.middleageish.com. That's www.middleageish.com. You can follow along on social media at Middle Ageish. Also, if you have a moment to leave a review, rate, and subscribe, that helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Middle Ageish podcast.